Okay, so second attempt recording this video. Just gonna keep this in portrait mode. I guess I'm just sort of following up off of the last video for the most part. Um, Still on NoFap. I got that team interview at 9:30, so I'll head back home after this work shift is done. I still have this job, so it's not like I'm like trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a better job because things are kind of shifting or changing at work. Our supervisor will be leaving at the end of the year, and he's sort of been this guy who's gone to bat for us and sort of shielded us from a lot of the stuff from the higher ups. And so kind of like once he's gone, the environment's going to change. It's going to get it's going to get way more, I guess, corporate, if you will. And we're already seeing those sorts of effects occur. And me sitting here, like I got contacted on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago by this recruiter from this other up and coming biotech company, and I kind of looked into them before and heard about them, but I hadn't really like applied or anything. And then sort of following the chain of events, like here I am, having talked to the recruiter, having talked to the hiring manager, and she liked my experience and background and my answers to the questions she had, and so now I'm having this interview, and I'm basically, things could be cool in a few months, but they could also go very sideways or so. And given that I kind of been feeling like stagnant, at this place at present, not seeing much of a future in the sense of trying to get into what I'm trying to get into, which is automation engineering. I'm just taking this opportunity. It's a tier 2 manufacturing associate job, so it's sort of like the next level up. And hopefully that means, obviously it means more money. There'll be less time to commute, so meaning like less money spent on gas, and I can continue to pay off my debts and hopefully like speed that up a bit and maybe save up the cash I need in order to pay for some automation engineering coursework and certifications. So I can kind of get that ball rolling, so to speak. So I'm really going for that. Other than that, just kind of getting through life. Completing my assignments for my class, waiting for the exam results, and hoping the damage isn't too much, so to speak, that I won't be able to get the grade I need to get, because they want B's or higher in these courses, and I need to bump my GPA up so I can get into the graduate program. So that being said, that's kind of like where I'm at. And I've also been sort of thinking about how should I put it, like you have your sort of your quote unquote day job, and then I have my YouTube channels, and one of them I can see myself sort of like renovating it and turning it into something that could sort of be I don't want to use terms like politically correct but it kind of crosses into that sort of territory where I could have a channel that if I built it up, I could talk about science fiction. I could have footage of playing video games. I could do all that kind of stuff that's very like again, I don't want to use terms like PC, but basically like non-threatening, I guess you could say, not controversial. And I could be I could expand that audience. It's the channel that doesn't have as many subscribers. A lot of it's just because I haven't been posting to it as much, and also the whole like you put NoFap in your video, you get hits, so to speak, because it's a topic that's something that's very relevant to a lot of folks, and it's very easy sort of to find. Folks can just go punch that into their search in YouTube or Google or wherever, and stuff can come up, pop up, and they'll see it. No pun intended. But if I were to sort of work on that as sort of a side gig or a side hobby or a side project, it would probably have to be the other channel. This one, I almost feel like I would need to be like so financially secure that if I really were to sort of given that I've discussed, a lot of personal and private issues and stuff that kind of can overlap into controversial areas like politics and religion and gender issues, I guess you might call them. You throw the term like red pill or what have you, or MGTOW, or any of those sort of hashtag type terms. Um, and with the current political climate, cultural climate, and especially since it's 2020, I don't know if I would really want to get into that sort of stuff. You know, whichever end of the spectrum I would end up falling on in terms of my views, it would sort of be one of those things that could kind of cause a lot of problems. Sort of a lot of the concerns I would have wouldn't necessarily be that I would say or do anything controversial. It's more like the fact that if you get out there and you're really successful, you're getting the subscribers, or you're getting the views, or whatever metric you want to use. Um, Folks just being vindictive and jealous and such, they'll try and sort of take you down, and they go, oh, who is this person? Let's go dox them. Let's go like um, find whatever way we can to like ruin their life. That's always like a concern you have if you're gonna post any video to YouTube or wherever. You have to sort of be thinking about that. Like, okay, gotta watch what I say, gotta watch what words I use, etc., etc. Um, so I think the other channel would probably be a lot easier for me to build up, just because the way I've viewed that channel, it's sort of something that I would, by its nature, just not really get into anything sort of controversial, just because, like, okay, I'm gonna go play a video game, I'm gonna do screen capture of my screen, me playing this video game, I'm gonna put that up, or I'm gonna find a way to, I don't know, use Camtasia and make some sort of informative video about some sort of science fiction novel or so, and here's my interpretation of it, or here's what I liked about it, or what have you. Um, it's easier to build something up like that and not really end up in territory where somebody is like so offended by something that you said or some thought you had about some issue or whatever, that they would like want to like take you down. It could happen, but it's far less likely, and it's to the extent that I think I can kind of like live with that risk without being so anxious and that sort of deal about it. And on another note, like I know Alex Ehlers, he talked about possibly making more videos for his channel, putting this sort of stuff up. I'd suggest doing that. I'd like to see that content. I don't know if you're still having problems with folks like now knowing your channel and going on there making comments or whatever, or if it'd be on the other channel that I know that you have. Definitely give it a shot. Make the videos. I'm not sure what you really want to be talking about. We live in an era right now where just the idea of having discourse or discussions or debates is it seems like it's kind of out the window, or it's not on the table, so to speak. Groups have diverged so significantly. There's basically we have a polarized environment, and it's ironic, but it doesn't really even have to be politics. Like, you think about that right away. Oh, he's referring to politics. He's referring to the different parties or what have you. It could be anything, really. There's this whole sort of narrative out there where, it could be pretty much anything you're talking about. It has to like mean a certain thing, or it has to have a certain angle, such that it's like if you like I don't know, some video game or so, that means dozen such things about you, or if you don't like it, it means other things about you, and then it's like it sort of gets blown out of proportion and turned into something far more strident and divisive and almost like tiring, But I don't know. It feels like to me like looking at in the world from that angle, like of seeing all this going down. That's almost like I would sort of just rather aim to build myself up, get myself out of debt, build up enough emergency funds, um, create the kind of passive income that would allow me the sort of freedom to sort of, I guess, what's the word, like unplug from society and and the general sort of workings of the world, without any notice, so I could just kind of like go off somewhere else. I think of like the example of Richard Prenneke, who he was like this naturalist and wildlife photographer back in 1963, I think it was, 1969, something like that. He decided to just go off to Alaska and go to this sort of wildlife preserve, this very isolated, valley, and just like build a cabin out there and live there for 30 years on his own. I don't know what his exact reasons were, but I guess he just felt like it. He went and did that, and it wasn't anything political. It wasn't anything cultural. It was just like his decision to sort of do that because he just kind of felt like it. And he left behind a bunch of footage, his journals, etc. And it was like someone made a documentary out of that, and I did see it. And it was just kind of like that's more sort of what I would want to be able to do, sort of get away from it all, especially with sort of the craziness in recent months, not just COVID, but other stuff. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not really gonna detail that. I think if you really wanted to sort of get a review of the last 6 months, let's say, there are multiple sources out there. You don't really have to hear about it from me. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Might try and take a little bit of nap if I can. Probably just gonna head back to the lab, get some more work done. But honestly, just focus on the interview and my class, and just finances, the basics of life. I'm not here trying to make some political statement or get wrapped up in some sort of conflict, because I'm mostly apolitical, and I'm just one guy, and I have my concerns and my focuses in life, and it's sort of like, okay, what's more important to me? Some abstract political issue, or paying off my student loans, or getting that next job, or keeping my job, or taking care of my physical health. I mean, like, I have this cough right now, but I think it's mostly because I've been talking for about 15 minutes or so. Probably just go get some to drink after this, but those sorts of things are far more important to me. Like, for instance, I need to lose between 30 and 40 pounds to get back into a healthy BMI. I'm kind of overweight right now. I went through a certain time where I was more focused on just trying to save money, and that meant, not eating as healthy. And definitely haven't been getting exercise because most of the places have been closed down because of COVID. I suppose I could work out at home, but, it's sort of a motivation issue there. Issues with my left knee, more like a runner's knee sort of thing. I might have carpal tunnel in my left hand starting off. I've had this sort of infection issue to deal with in my right hand, which the nails are growing back, but they're taking their time. Stuff like that I'm far more concerned about than something that's completely out of my control. So anyways, that's basically where I'm at right now. I'd like to hear from the folks have been following me for a while, and if you're into NoFap, you're doing NoFap, a comment as well. That's all kind of grown out to be more than just NoFap. It's sort of like this different approach to life and trying to work on myself and that sort of deal. But Anyways, hour 15 minutes, and I will see you folks around. Okay, bye.